Welcome to the Commonwealth Workforce Development System simulation for creating and updating an individual employment plan and individual service strategy, IEP ISS, in CWDS 2.0, for youth participant. This simulation includes audio. Please take a moment to adjust your volume. This simulation provides an overview of how to create and update an IEP ISS in CWDS 2.0 for a WIOA, out-of-school youth participant. By the end of the simulation, you will be able to open and access an IEP ISS for a participant, assemble barriers, interests, skills, and employment details, create a goal with associated objectives and planned services, authenticate the IEP ISS, barriers, and objectives, and update planned services and update an objectives status. In CWDS 2.0, PA Career Link case managers and career planners will have the system role of objective manager. An objective manager is a staff user who has the ability to create and manage an IEP ISS and all of its elements, for example, barriers, interests, objectives, etc. This term is specific to CWDS 2.0 and does not reflect nor have any impact on your professional title within your organization. Let's begin. When you initially log in, the CWDS staff homepage displays. The IEP ISS functionality for workforce participants resides on CWDS 2.0. Press CWDS 2.0. The CWDS 2.0 home screen displays. To access a participant's IEP ISS, perform a participant search or case search. Press Participant Search. Enter the participant's details, such as their name, SSN, participant ID, phone number, or email, to perform the search. Press Search. Select the participant's name from the list of results. Or, when an active IEP ISS exists for the participant, press the More Actions menu, located to the far right of the participant listing, to access the View IEP ISS quick link. Press Aguirre Teresa. The participant summary screen displays with information associated to the participant, such as programs, service authorizations, case notes, recent activity, and plans. Scroll down to view additional information. If an active IEP ISS does not exist, one may be created for the participant. Each participant may only have one active plan which may be shared and managed by multiple staff users across programs. Press the plus button to create a new IEP ISS. The IEP ISS screen for the selected participant displays in edit mode. The Customer Information and Plan Information sections pre-populate with information from CWDS. Scroll down to see other IEP ISS components. The Barriers section is the first applicable field on a newly created IEP ISS. Utilize this section to document the participant's barriers to employment. Barriers can be added at any time. Press Add Barrier. The Barrier Details window displays. Input the required details. For the purpose of the simulation, the required information will be pre-populated in this window. If a participant's documented barrier to employment, education, and/or individual development is able to be overcome through accomplishing a goal, meeting an objective, the passage of time, or other attainable events, the barrier can be recorded as surmountable. If a participant's documented barrier is one that is persistent and cannot be overcome, do not record the barrier as surmountable. Press the Yes or No radio button to identify if participant and/or staff authentication are required. When Yes is selected for participant authentication required, the required staff authentication required prompt displays. Note: selecting Yes will trigger the signature function at the bottom of the IEP ISS screen. Once all barrier details are documented, press Save. Interests are the next detail to add to the IEP ISS. Utilize this section to identify the participant's future career aspirations. Interests can be added at any time and should be based on the Career One-Stop Interest Assessment. Press Add Interest. The Interest Details window displays. Input the required details and then press the Save or Save and Add Another button. For the purpose of the simulation, the required information will be pre-populated in this window. Press Save. The Current Skills section enables you to identify the participant's transferable talents and expertise. Skills can be added at any time. Press Add Skill. The Skills Details window displays. Input the required details, and then press the Save or Save and Add Another button. For the purpose of the simulation, the required information will be pre-populated in this window. Press Save. The information that displays in the Employment Details section automatically populates from the participant's work history. When this section is blank, no work history has been documented for the participant to date. Note: changes made here will be reflected in the participant's work history. Press Add Employment. The Employment Details window displays. Input the required details, and then press the Save button. For the purpose of the simulation, no additional employment details will be entered. Press Cancel to close the window. The Goals Details section enables you to document the participant's goals. Press Add Goal. The Goal Details window displays. Input the required information, and then press the Save or Save and Add Another button. Press the drop-down menu. Notice that youth participants have the choice of 3 goals. Each goal can be added to the participant's IEP ISS. For this example, Education will be the first goal established. Select Education. For the purpose of the simulation, the begin date has been added for you. Press Save. Within each goal, objectives will be added. Objectives create measurable targets for participants to meet to progress towards goal achievement. Press Add Objective. The Objective Details window displays. Input the required details, and then save. Press the drop-down menu to select a program. Select WIOA, Out of School Youth, 16 to 24. Press the Case drop-down menu. The Case drop-down menu populates with the cases associated to the selected program. Select the appropriate case for this objective. Press the Objective Manager drop-down menu. The Objective Manager drop-down menu is populated with a list of individuals who are assigned the role of AP Case Manager, and are associated with an office in your local workforce development area. Select an appropriate Objective Manager. For the purpose of the simulation, the remaining required fields have been pre-populated for you. Press the Yes or No radio button to identify if participant and staff authentication are required. Press Yes. When Yes is selected for participant authentication required, the required staff authentication required prompt displays. Note: selecting Yes will trigger the signature function at the bottom of the IEP ISS screen. When first creating an objective, or if your program guidelines require follow-up after participation ends, do not respond to the Objective Met question until all program services are delivered. When this question is answered for all objectives on the IEP ISS and all required authentications are provided, the IEP ISS automatically closes. Press Save. Note: completion of the Education and Employment Status screen may be required following this window. Once the objective is added to the IEP ISS, add the applicable plan services. Press Add Plan Service. The Plan Service window displays. Search for, select, or manually add a service that will help the participant to reach their objective. For this example, the service codes that will be entered are WYS02, WAT08, and WYS27. Note: Planned services should be selected and chosen according to policy or operational consideration. Enter WYS02 in the search bar. Press Search. Select the applicable service from the results and complete the required fields. Press Select. For the purposes of the simulation, the start date and estimated end date have been entered for you. Not started has been selected as the status at this time. Press Save and add another to add an additional planned service. The planned service window refreshes. Repeat the previous steps to add another planned service for the objective. For the purpose of the simulation, the next two planned services will be added for you. The IEP ISS screen displays. If appropriate, continue adding planned services. Expand the objective to view the previously added planned services. Press the plus button. Verify that all added planned services appear and were recorded properly. For this example, a total of 3 planned services have been added to the objective. Press Add Goal to add an education and/or individual development goal to the IEP ISS, if necessary. Although not shown in the simulation, both the employment and individual development goals, along with applicable objectives and planned services, were added to the plan for this participant. Scroll down to continue to Authentication. The Authentication section is the last section of the IEP ISS. If confirmation, validation, and/or verification of the accuracy of the agreed-upon IEP ISS details, for example, barriers, and/or objectives, is necessary, the staff user may request authentication of these details. Any requested authentications may be performed by adding electronic signatures of the participant, responsible party, and/or staff to the IEP ISS, indicating all associated parties approve the IEP ISS details. Parties may add their signatures to the IEP ISS using the Add Signature buttons. Note: a parent, guardian or responsible party signature is required to authenticate the IEP ISS for a youth participant under the age of 18. Press Add Signature for the participant signed on prompt. The Add Electronic Signature window displays. To add a signature to the IEP ISS, use the mouse to enter a signature and then press Add. If the signature is unclear or not representative, press Clear to remove the signature and try again. Press Add to add Teresa's signature. Add a parent, guardian, or responsible party signature if applicable. For the purpose of the simulation, it will be added for you. When your signature as the objective manager is required for a barrier or objective, the Add Signature button displays in the Authentication History section. Repeat the previous steps to add your electronic signature to each objective or barrier when required. For the purpose of the simulation, they will be added for you. Once all required signatures are added to the IEP ISS, press the Save button. If needed, press Export IEP ISS to view a PDF version and/or to print the IEP ISS for the participant. Scroll to the Progress Notes section of the IEP ISS. Progress notes may only be added to the IEP ISS for a program after an objective has been created for the program. Progress notes entered on the plan are viewable by other objective managers who are also working with the participant. Progress notes added on the IEP ISS are automatically added to the case progress notes as well. Press Add Progress Note. The IEP ISS Progress Note window displays. Enter the required information and press the Save, or Save and Add Another button. For the purpose of the simulation, the required information will be pre-populated for you. Press Save. The newly added Progress Note displays. In Part 2 of this simulation, you will revisit the IEP ISS for the WIOA out-of-school youth participant. Time has passed and the participant has received planned services and attained her GED. This portion of the simulation provides an overview of the steps to take to update a planned service to a delivered service and mark the objective status as met or not met. After accessing the active IEP ISS for the participant, scroll down to the Goal Details section. Expand the first objective to view and edit the plan services. Press the plus button. Press Edit for the applicable plan service. The plan service window displays. To update a plan service to delivered, update the appropriate fields, and then select the applicable status from the Status drop-down menu. For the purposes of the simulation, the actual end date will be added for you. Press the drop-down menu. The following three statuses enable adding the service to the service record: completed, partially completed successful, and partially completed unsuccessful. Select completed. Press Save and Add to Service Record. Pressing Save and Add to Service Record will display the service authorization screen in CWDS. The service authorization screen displays. Continue through and update the information on this screen and any following screens where necessary, to confirm delivery of the service. Press Save and Finish to return to the IEP ISS in CWDS 2.0. The IEP ISS displays. Scroll to return to the Goal Details section. Expand the objective again to confirm the service has been moved to the service record. Press the plus button. Once confirmed, the objective can be collapsed. Press the minus button. When all the planned services, which could include follow-up services, have been delivered for the objective, edit the objective status to mark it as met or not met. Press Edit. The Objective Details window displays. Press the Yes or No checkbox to respond to the Objective Met question. Teresa has met her objective by attaining her GED. Answer yes to this question. Press the calendar to choose an actual end date. Enter applicable comments if appropriate. The Goal Achieved question displays when you identify whether or not the objective was met. Answering yes or no identifies whether or not the goal was achieved through this objective. In this example, Teresa attaining her GED completes her current education goal. Answer yes to this question. Press the calendar to choose an actual end date. Enter applicable comments if appropriate. Press Save. Notice the change in objective status. This concludes the simulation for creating and updating an individual employment plan and individual service strategy, IEP ISS, in CWDS 2.0 for youth participant. For more information on how to access and use the IEP ISS functionality in CWDS 2.0, please visit the CWDS Help Center to access and review any of the training resources identified below.